It's after 2 p.m. Call the meeting to order. First and foremost, we'll go ahead and take attendance. Councilor Vargas.
Present.
And Councilor Orlikoff.
Here.
All right. That being said, my name is Councilor Laurent. That means we do have a quorum, so we can proceed. Thank you, Mr. Daly. All right. So first things first, we are going to get into public comment. Just a refresher on this. It's going to be each speaker is going to be given 2 minutes. We're going to go for about 20 minutes total. Doesn't seem like our attendance is going to be an issue with it on that. We ask that you refrain from making any personal attacks. Keep it civil. And, yeah, let's see if we have any public comment. Ms. Heyman.
I've been very confused, and I'd like to get some clarity on how the sign-up list, who keeps those, who sends out emails to everybody that signed up on the list to announce that we're holding meetings, like the meeting today, which is not a regular scheduled meeting. I know of at least 2 people who did not get those emails. I thought you, Christopher Lawrence, were doing that, but you said at the last meeting that you're not, and that you had given that responsibility. I thought you said that, and that you had given that responsibility to David. When I asked David about it, he didn't seem to know anything about having the official list. He has his own list of people that he sends information to, but not the official list of people who sign up on these tables. Can somebody please explain to me what happens to those lists, who gets them, and who is supposed to be sending out that notice before the meeting, hopefully at least 2 days in advance?
Thank you for your comments. Do we have any other public comments? Mr. Burke.
I'd like to thank the council for hosting the meeting with the commander, and I was really happy to see the turnout. That was really excellent. I know there was a transcript of the commander's comments and questions that were asked, and I would love to see a summary, like a checklist of the commitments that the commander made to us, where she said multiple times that she would follow up on various things, and I'd like the council to hold her accountable to that. And I'd also just like to note that robberies in the 14th district are down 67% versus last year in the last month, and it's almost too good to be true, so let's wait to see what happens, but wouldn't it be great for us to spend our time working on more productive things?
Thank you for your comments. Do we have any other public comments? Mr. Tucker.
I'm very flattered by the mental energy and resources and money that went into putting my face on a sticker and vandalized all around town, calling me a parasite. It would have just been very much easier to just tell that to my face. While I am amused, the person in this room, or the person who knows the person in this room who made those stickers, I welcome them to say it to my face. I will not be intimidated, bullied, or otherwise dissuaded from my participation in these meetings. So, while I am flattered, I'm still gonna stick around. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have any other public comments to be made? Mr. Risdell.
Just off of what this comrade was saying, social media is just a tool. It's a symptom of the problem, it's not the problem. But a lot of people, when they get on social media, will say all sorts of ridiculous things that they wouldn't necessarily say face-to-face when they're talking to that person. So things can get out of pocket very easily. I don't know what the answer to that is. I guess people should be more self-disciplined. But yeah, mediated communication doesn't work that well. It's better to have direct, honest communication.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Risdell. Do we have any other public comments?
Do I have a minute left?
You have some time?
I'll be participating in the DNC activities, and it seems like recently the person in charge of the police in Chicago is getting really aggro in general, and also specifically around the DNC. That concerns me, and I wish the mayor would do more to take it to his. I don't know what we can do about that as a board system.
Well, I could share your comments with the appropriate avenues, so thank you for your comment.
All right.
All right, do we have any other public comments? Going once, going twice. Sold. All right, so that should conclude the interactive portion of this meeting, so we'll move on into the business sections of said meeting. All right, let's see, we've got some minutes to go through. As a matter of fact, we have it's kind of like first and foremost, let's go over the June 1st minutes that I have for you to review. And I'll give you a few moments to look through them and see if there are any edits that are needed.
The first speaker was Michael Thalen, Michael. Let me verify the last name spelling. Saelens.
All right.
Yeah, I believe his comments were substantially about fireworks. Okay. Third speaker, Fayani is Faayani.
Okay.
Cool. So the discussion summary of Councilor Orlikoff, I'd like to add one thing. It ends in a period, CIA investigations of police associated with extremist groups. I would add where no wrongdoing was found for the 8 CPD members who had been, or CPD officers who had been members of the Oath Keepers. Thank you.
All right. Anything else that you noticed?
Not for me.
Okay. Councilor Vargas?
No comments for me.
No edits needed outside of what Councilor Orlikoff had presented?
Correct.
All right. Can I get
Motion to pass as amended?
Can I get a second?
I mean, once the corrections David suggested are made, yeah.
That's pending the corrections that he said. So
Right.
with the adjustments made by Councilor Orlikoff, so I'll rephrase. So can I get a motion to pass the minutes as they have been edited here in front of us?
Yes, so motion.
Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And all opposed? All right. By unanimous consent, they will pass. So we'll make those edits and make certain that they're published to everyone within the 10 days as required. All right, next we've got meeting minutes from the special meeting. These are a little different. These are more of a verbatim.
Of the same spelling correction.
Right,
I
I made it here on my copy, so. And I'm omitting the middle name that's in there. I don't know if that's accurate or not.
I'm not sure about that.
I'd rather omit it and be right that way than to get it wrong.
I don't know either way. I'm not going to comment on the middle name.
Okay, yeah, I'm just so you know, my edits included omitting it, so.
I don't
omitting-
object to that.
Okay.
Thank you for explaining. Sure, I mean, there's a lot
There's a lot to
here.
go through, yeah.
I think that it seems thorough.
And we also have a copy of the video of this particular meeting. Give me 1 second. I've got a copy of this this meeting, the special meeting, available, I believe, on our Facebook page, and I also have it archived. You were saying, Councilor Vargas?
Yeah, on June 1st, was that the meeting where people kind of commented on your behavior? And I also made some comments on your behavior, and the comments weren't here. Otherwise, I have to look back at the video.
Okay, so what do you recommend?
Next meeting, I'll have more clarity on the public comment for June 1st. So don't pass it yet.
Okay, so that being said, we have a motion on the table to suspend the approval of the minutes from June 1 for pending further review. Do I have a second?
Could I pose a question to the councilor first? Okay, sorry. Yes, so you want to hold off on approving them, or do you want to submit an amendment later on?
Hold off on approving.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. I will second the motion.
Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, by unanimous consent, we are suspending the approval of the June 1 meeting minutes pending further approval. Being the fact that we do have the subsequent meeting, August 3 would be the deadline to get these done. So we've got very short fuse there, being the fact that this is a special makeup meeting, rather. All right. All right, all clear there?
I think as far as the special meeting, June 27th minutes, I think I am good.
Okay. And Vargas, Councilor Vargas?
I think we're good.
Okay. Okay, can I get a motion to approve the special meeting minutes from June 27, 2024?
Yeah, motion to approve minutes.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? By unanimous consent, the meetings from the special meeting held on June 27, 2024, where we hosted Commander Linus at Haas Park, has been approved. All right. So, in case anyone's unclear, June 1 meeting minutes we're going to have a deadline to have those approved by August 3, our next meeting. So, those are forthcoming. All right. Okay, District Council member updates. Who would like to go first?
Okay. Sure, thanks. Yeah, I don't have much time for the updates. I will say some in the discussions. I guess I'll just respond to two of the public comments. Sally first. So everything on the table currently I've brought here, including the sign-up sheets that I have been bringing to pretty much all of the meetings. And those sign-ups go to my list. You did provide me with an email of somebody that you said was not receiving my emails. I have not added them yet because the nature of email lists, I need an explicit permission before I start sending things out. I don't think that's a law, but that's just what you have to do to not be spam. There may be some regulations that I'm not super aware of. So I believe that in the past there had been an additional sign-up sheet, and we've taken no official action that I'm aware of in terms of designating an official sign-up sheet or whatever. But anybody that signs up on my sheet, I do my best to send the email information out to them. The co-councilor may have comments on their time. I'm not sure. There was one other comment that I heard from Mr. Justin Tucker about being harassed in a vandalism campaign. So I extend my sympathies, and that is unacceptable. I also believe that's happened to at least one other individual who's been active in this space. It did also happen to me some time ago where, and it's different because I'm a public figure in a way that people participating are not. I also had my image posted on a flyer on my block some time ago, a number of months ago. But so I apologize that you're experiencing that. Thank you.
Well, please hold your questions. Do you have anything else for updates?
No.
Okay. Councilor Vargas, any updates on your end?
Yeah, I do have a couple updates. My first update is that last year, around May, there was a sergeant by the name of Sergeant Martin who harassed multiple times newcomers, our new neighbors who were staying at the police station. So the first harassment happened with xenophobic comments, and I organized a group of maybe 6 to 8 people to go to COPA, and we gave testimony on her behavior, and it was sustained. It was recently sustained, maybe about a week ago. And this was only the xenophobic comments. There was another situation where she used a dog to intimidate a 15-year-old boy, and because the family didn't want to sign off on further investigation, there will be no justice found there. But I do want to say the comments were sustained, and they couldn't do any further, any further punishment because she retired in December. So no justice, which very much frustrates me. And then regarding the BIA situation, I do want to give a big shout out and a big thanks to Adam Burke, our executive director, because maybe about a month ago we met for an hour and a half, and we met with not Adam Burke. I'm so sorry. As you can tell, you participate so much. You're on my mind. Adam Groves. So many Adams. But I do want to give a big shout out to Adam Groves because he was in the middle of onboarding our new CCPSA members. And during all that craziness, he met with me for an hour and a half, and we met with Andrea from COPA and Deborah from the OIG's office, and we just got a better understanding of where our investigations are. And what stood out to me during those meetings is that there's no communication between the 3 accountability agencies, and there should be a lot of work done in that area. So I am meeting with different stakeholders just to get a better understanding of how we can correct the system and find accountability for officers. And that's kind of where I'm at with the BIA investigation. Yeah, those are my updates. I do see new faces, so just like a recap on what BIA is investigating. Last year during the migrant, when there was newcomers sleeping in the police stations, there was a lot of police misconduct, and in the 14th district, there was a situation where an officer showed up to a volunteer's home with very big guns, asking for some newcomers who were staying at the police station, and so I helped them file a COPA report, and that's been in investigation for over a year now, and that's where we're at. Yeah. And then I would like to ask Damon Smith for an update on Angel from the CCPSA and where we're at with that.
One moment, please. Could you give some context as to what the situation regarding Angel is?
Oh yeah, Angel, So the nominating committee, we had the mayor's office pick 7 names finally, and Angel was one of the youth. And then there was a really big incident with the police and fire committee, that they found a conflict of interest with Angel being on the CCPSA council because of his day job. So he was not part of the 7 who were recently inaugurated last month. Well, on the 27th when we met with the commander. So I just kind of want an update on where we are with Angel, and if you can provide that, please.
Sure, not a problem. So the Police and Fire Committee met last week on Monday before the City Council meeting took place on Wednesday, and they delayed a vote on Angel. So they're still trying to do some negotiating, trying to do some more research about the conflict of interest. If there is one, what kind is it? Just financial, it's also financial and related to the job, it's the job only. But to everyone's satisfaction, so they can't have a vote on either point. That's where it is.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
That's it with my comments.
Oh, thank you, Councilor Vargas. I'm looking for my notes here because I had a couple of things that I wanted to go over. One off the top of my head, from memory. I did attend the 8th District Council meeting on Thursday, which I see a familiar face that was there with me. And at that meeting, they had a presentation from Sound Thinking, and I know that this is kind of a touchy subject, but I think that whether you're for or against Sound Thinking and their product, also known as ShotSpotter, I think most informed people make the best decisions. And they're interested in coming out here and providing a presentation, and I open that for any kind of criticism or yes, no, if it's something we're interested in as a council, to have them in here and invite them. I do have their contact information, if so. So we'll have a quick conversation about that during the discussion. Also, I know that you received a copy of this from the Cook County State's Attorney's Office. Got some good news to report from that. The 14th District had 25 felony cases reviewed and 23 were approved for a 92% approval rating. So that means that the due diligence as far as making certain that we're seeking the justice all the way down the line, or if it's something that was taken out of context, it's going through the proper channels, so that's good news. We had one person graduate from a diversion program, and that would be inclusive to restorative justice or pretrial intervention, that sort of thing. And we had 942, and this is from June of 2024 report, by the way, which I have a copy here with me. And if anyone in attendance is interested in a copy, like I said, all three of us got them in the inbox, so we can share that with you. 942 reported incidents in June, with 88 of them resulting in an arrest for a 9% arrest rate. All right, and with that concludes my input for updates. All right, so we will get into the discussion aspect of things. Councilor Vargas, do you have anything on police accountability in the BIA Association order?
The DIA?
The
BIA? I mean, I gave my updates. I will say that after the police showed up and we made that COPA report, they received a menacing phone call to get rid of the COPA report, which is also under investigation. And BIA is essentially the police investigating the police. You know, when we talk about extremist groups within like the police system, BIA found them not guilty, and essentially I think there needs to be a great transformation with police accountability, and we need to move away from police investigating themselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Orlikoff?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Councilor Vargas and Laurent. We do have a letter on the table. We've often had the pleasure of Jeff Tischhauser, a senior Southern Poverty Law Center researcher, attending these meetings. So the official response from the SPLC about the Bureau of Internal Affairs finding no wrongdoing for 8 CPD officers known to be members of the Oath Keepers. Their responses there. I'd also like to highlight 2 other things. It came to my attention, or was mentioned at the special meeting on the 27th with the commander, that there is an article by Jinx Press detailing some of the issues with a police officer in the 14th District. So, you know, I've looked at that because I was unaware before people told us, but if you're interested in learning more about the officer within the 14th District, you can search for it with the Jinx Press. It's Officer Nowacki, was one of the previous members of the Oath Keepers. Lastly, for me on this, there has also been a number of reports released by the Inspector General's Office of Chicago. They had called for BIA to reopen the investigation, finding it materially deficient. And if you want to get more into it, the Southern Poverty Law Center letter is great, but in thanks to the CCPSA President Anthony Driver, BIA did release the full records of those investigations, so people were really able to look at that. And all they did for the investigation was interview the officers with their defense attorney present on average for about 22 minutes. And, but anyway, to summarize, OIG asked them to redo the investigation. They also called for the mayor's office to convene a cross-department emergency task force to deal with the issue. The mayor's office did, and Darren Gatewood for Community Safety did respond, but have not made any commitments to initiate such a group. BIA declined to reopen the investigation. So I concur with my colleague. I also shared these concerns when the policy was being drafted, that the Bureau of Internal Affairs cannot be trusted to evaluate whether officers are holding racial bias or hateful bias by themselves. And I think that the result of this, you know, bears fruit on that. OIG specifically made the point that in the absence of there being any lists of banned groups, that the new standard could theoretically allow a Ku Klux Klan member to join CPD, or an ex-Ku Klux Klan member. And the standard from the BIA chief spokesperson seems to be that if they don't tell us that they're racist when we interview them, there's nothing we can do, which is sort of our greatest fear. So, unfortunately, the result of the one policy that the CCPSA created last year, updating the General Bias Association Order, according to the Office of Inspector General, we now have weaker protections than we did previously under this new policy. So that is something that is weighing on me. I think that we need to be making progress rather than moving backwards, and we're not satisfied with. I'm not satisfied with the results. That's all for that for me. Thank you.
And we'll move on to the restorative justice.
There was a question.
Sorry.
I was just wondering what the conclusion was of the initial BIA investigation.
They found no wrongdoing at all. Yeah, and have declined to reopen the case despite the insistence of the Inspector General, finding it to be materially deficient. Yes?
I'm a little confused. So is the OIG not going to reopen those cases?
So what they did was, the jurisdiction, according to the policy the jurisdiction relies on a number of things, including state laws, the police contract, and the ordinances that build these bodies. But in the current policy, jurisdiction was given to the Bureau of Internal Affairs to determine whether officers do hold any hateful bias. And so they're the only ones currently doing those investigations. OIG investigated BIA and said this was not an acceptable investigation. BIA has declined to issue an investigation. So OIG, I believe, cannot take it on themselves to simply investigate the officers. They need some additional authority to be sort of handed that jurisdiction.
Sorry. If we can get maybe like someone from OIG or BIA to come in and clarify like what BIA takes on, because OIG has specific things they take on, and if it doesn't fall under those specific things that they take on, BIA will investigate. Because regarding the phone call, we sent it to OIG for them to investigate, because if BIA made that phone call, then there would be a conflict of interest for BIA to investigate BIA. But within BIA, there's a system where BIA has higher up members who investigate BIA members. So it's kind of a joke. And there really needs to be a lot of transforming in that system.
So just as a response, I have been in communication with the OIG's office, and I believe that we can have a representative at our October 5th meeting from the Office of Inspector General.
Okay.
So I'm, finalizing that, but that, they said that they were available.
So just to clarify, a bad joke is a joke that's not funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not funny. Sorry.
All right, restorative justice, anything?
Oh, well, actually, still on police accountability for pretextual traffic stop update, if that's what we're, okay. So, there's a number of updates on pretextual traffic stop. There are now 35, in total there should be 66 district councilors. I believe we're at 64 currently with a couple vacancies, but 35 district councilors have officially endorsed a proposal as DCs to update this policy in fitting with the vote that was held in this council in September of last year, calling on the CCPSA, the commission, to change the department policy with CPD's general directive to stop pretextual traffic stops. That was very wordy. We have a majority of district councilors that are now officially in support of ending pretextual traffic stops by the CCPSA taking action. Additional updates, we've been collecting petition signatures, the Free to Move Coalition and a number of district councilors and other folks. Again, the CCPSA provides a petition to any group of residents of Chicago, and if they get sufficient support, they will hold a public hearing on the matter. So it's a boilerplate petition that you fill in the topic that you seek a hearing on. And, there's an example on the table, but we've been working on getting those signatures. The Free to Move Coalition is going to present the signatures to the commission at their next meeting, which is this Thursday, the 25th. The CCPSA meeting is at 6:30 at Malcolm X College, but we'll be having a press conference starting at 6 p.m. Immediately before the CCPSA hearing. Malcolm X is 1900 West Jackson, this Thursday, the 26th, or 25th. Yes, sir?
It's in the Reader recently, an article that breaks down that traffic stop routine in detail.
I haven't seen that.
Can I submit it to you so you can make copies of it and add to the mix?
Yeah, please, if I don't already have that copy, but I haven't read it yet, so thanks for bringing it to my attention.
Should I wait till after the meeting to give it to you?
Please.
That would be great. Thanks, appreciate it. So almost done. Actually, there's even more updates on traffic stops. There's a WBEZ reporter, Amy Chin, working on an article, and so according to some preliminary data, it may be the case that traffic stops have started to trend down in most of the city, but that they have actually increased in the 14th and 25th districts. So that is interesting, and I don't have enough information really to say too much about that. But if anybody has experienced traffic stops this year in our area, Amy Chin would love to speak with you. So if you know anybody also that fits the bill, she's looking for somebody to talk to. Lastly, there have been updates in terms of trying to change the policy on traffic stops. Unfortunately, or whatever, it's likely that this policy is now going into the federal consent decree, which means that the CCPSA will not have the jurisdiction to create the policy themselves. It was our hope of the Free to Move Coalition, and back in October, we kept it out of the consent decree, and we're trying to have the commission act on it. The commission has taken no material action, including providing timelines, and according to the Office of Attorney General for the state of Illinois, they were not responsive for a long time. So basically, the CCPSA has lost the opportunity to have ownership over this policy, and it's going into the federal consent decree. So that's a different avenue that we now are taking forward. But all advocacy, the players in the consent decree include the federal courts, the Attorney General's office, and lawyers for the city, as well as community stakeholders and other parties. So all community activity and organizing and activism will still have an impact on the passage of policy correcting this. All right, that was a lot. Thanks.
Okay, no, and out of curiosity, because as I said, we've been talking about the Freedom Move Coalition and their efforts, and one aspect, angle of attack would be to sit there and try to change the policy, which I know you've been working rigorously at. Have you tried the other angle of attack, which would be to go into like a state code to where you can sit there and ask lawmakers that meet in Springfield to sit there and alter the laws on that end? Because that might be, it's still an uphill climb, but I think if you split your concerted effort to go at two different points of attack, it might bear a little bit more fruit and more speedily as well.
I mean, yeah, quickly so personally I have not been focusing on the state efforts. As the Freedom Move has 6-month strategy meetings, so they've definitely thought and talked about that possibility, and it hasn't been the number one priority, but it's seen as a longer term. There are, pluses and minuses, mainly that you have to do a lot of work downstate, and the plus would be you could have a very robust, state law.
No, and my pattern of thought to there is to sit there and say, okay, well, rather than telling this particular department, because there's a lot across the state of Illinois, rather than, and if it goes through, of course, the only people that truly benefit out of it would be that one department, or the people in that department, under the authority of that department, I should say. But rather than sitting there trying to say, well, don't do this part of your job, it might be easier to sit there and say, okay, well, this applies to all counties and all police departments throughout the state. Hey, this is no more of a thing that we do.
Yes, the more complicated it gets in Chicago, right, the more appealing that option becomes.
No, and like I said, it might be worth looking into. It might be a little bit easier climb, or bear more fruit, like I said, on both ends. Anything on restorative justice?
I have one thing. The Build Restorative Justice Center is located at 5100 West Harrison. They have announced their upcoming free restorative justice training to be a circle keeper. So I am planning to take a peace circle training. They have 2 sessions, and they're multiple days. So from July 29th to August 1st, that weekend, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's the one I believe I'm going to take. So that's July 29th to August 1st, 5 to 9 p.m. There's also August 19th to August 22nd, and those are from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. during the day. And I've been advised that these are completely free, and I even believe that some food will be provided because they're during dinner and lunchtime. They also have a circle for circle keepers, but that's for people who are already practicing. And they have some other events as well, but that's the main one that I wanted to share.
And what's the date on that again?
July 29th to August 1st from 5 to 9 p.m. at 5100 West Harrison. Okay. And also August 19th to August 22nd from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And so if anyone would like to take that with me, love to see you there.
All right, and Councilor Vargas, you have anything on restorative justice programs?
No, thanks.
Okay. All right, evidence-based approaches to community safety.
Thank you so much. I have 2 things. First, we're going to do another community bike ride like the one we had in Humboldt Park previously, primarily being organized by our 25th Police District Council neighbors, and Saul Ariano doing a great job. So this one is going to be at August 10th, and it is starting and ending in Kosciuszko Park at like Diversey and Hamlin.
Near Pulaski.
Or they have the addresses 2732 North Avers for the specific spot. They're starting to meet at 9 a.m. and if you would like a free bike rental, you can register for Divvies for free there. And they're doing bike checks if you bring a bike, but also, the ride should start around 9:30, and there's going to be free food after the ride at 11:30 in the same park. They will drive through Logan Square and Humboldt Park, but it's starting and stopping in Cause. So anyway, that's August 10th, starting at 9 a.m. at Cause Park. And I have at our next meeting, I may ask us to have a vote to endorse that officially. I have one final item, which is a community survey that I started, and they're on the table. It's 2 questions. The first is just, what do you think the priorities should be for what police focus on, and what do you think the police are currently focusing on? So please take one if you haven't. You could do it in paper and leave it here, or you can also do it online with a QR code or bit.ly survey 14PC. We started these at the Logan Square Farmers Market. We had our day there, but obviously continuing to pass this around. Thanks.
All done. Do you have anything for evidence-based policing and community safety? All right. I think that's about it. Just a quick reminder to all here. National Night Out, which I see Ms. Heyman has her wonderful shirt on yet again. First Tuesday in August. It's at Haas Park again, I believe. It's a great time. Whether you're pro or against police, it's still a great time to go out there and see your neighbors that you haven't seen in a while, and live music, that sort of thing, good food. And plus, COPA was there last year as well. So you get a lot of information there about community safety, and yes, it is a CAPS event. Okay, and I'll go ahead and ask Mr. Burke. I know that I kind of delayed you, so I'll go ahead and give you the...
Going back to Sally's question about the mailing list, I'm sorry if that's covered again while I was out. So I remember signing on the council mailing list the very first meeting I came to, but now I realize that might not have been the council mailing list, if I understood what Councilor Orlikoff said. So could I make a request that Councilor Orlikoff voluntarily turn over his mailing list to the 14th District Council and have that belong to the 14th District Council? Because I don't believe any one councilor should be collecting a mailing list on behalf of the council if it is not actually the council's mailing list, especially a councilor whose role is community outreach for the district council.
Right. So let me go ahead and touch on that real quick, and it's something I did address, and not to bemoan the obvious. That wasn't actually a meeting because the meeting didn't take place primarily because we didn't have quorum, but and I do remember having that conversation with you in our non-meeting. So, and the way that I explained it out is back in March we had an issue where we had a constituent that had signed up on an email list, and it wasn't the one that she thought she was signing on to, and it became whether or not we're violating people's privacy and data issues and things like that. And that being said, to kind of clear out any confusion, since Councilor Orlikoff is our community outreach, it seems suitable for him to manage and maintain the email communications list and things like that. The email lists that have been up there since before March has been owned by Councilor Orlikoff. Now, to your concern, I don't disagree with you. However, since we're dealing with people's data and privacy matters, I don't feel comfortable in asking Councilor Orlikoff to share that with the entire body. Does that make sense?
No, because my point was the opposite. When I signed up at the first meeting, I'm very confident that the form said that it was the district council mailing list, and I saw today that it said Councilor Orlikoff's mailing list.
Oh, okay. So that's where the hang-up is. So. No. So it should be, you're accurate in saying that it should be the 14th Police District Council official mailing list.
Correct.
So, Councilor Orlikoff, I'm going to have to ask that you make that edit where it's not your personal mailing list, that especially if it's to promulgate information coming directly from these, promoting these meetings or what have you. Yes, Ms. Heyman.
For many, many months after I started coming to these meetings last summer, early in the summer that I started doing that, there was a mailing list, and I signed up for it repeatedly. And I would get emails from you every month, basically a day, maybe a day before the meeting, and I assumed that email came from me signing that list. What list were you using?
initially had a sign-up sheet for an email list, and once we had the issue.
For the 14th district.
Right, for the 14th district, and once there was, it was raised, the concerns were raised about people signing the wrong ones, I said, okay, I'm gonna stop utilizing this and let it go to the proper
What
channel.
happened to that list?
It's sitting dormant, it's sitting dormant, in other words, it's not in use.
But you still have it.
I do.
Why did you stop sending it out to people who signed up to get information about the 14th district?
That would be Councilor Orlikoff, our community.
No, I don't. I never heard in any meeting, and I've been to every meeting since early summer, I never heard you in any of these meetings tell David that he was now responsible for sending out the emails.
Okay, well, he's been generating a list at every one of our meetings.
He's been doing his own
Right.
list, yeah,
Right.
but not
Anyway. All right.
the list that you were using.
All right.
I wonder if it was
No.
his committee.
No. Can you explain the statutory roles that the three of you have?
Well, right, I'm the chair, which is basically my primary role is to basically keep these meetings moving, make certain that they happen, make certain that they are noticed and agended out with appropriate timing. I've taken on the role of basically making the minutes, creating the minutes and putting them up for edits and adoption, and basically doing a lot of the administrative efforts.
But you never were assigned as sending out the emails or
Can you explain
Wait,
Councilor
don't-
Rokoff's statutory role?
Question.
Yes.
What happened to your committee's list? Where do those names, where do you keep
I'm
that?
happy to address that, but I would like Councilor Laurent to continue about
Right,
statutory authority.
Oh,
Councilor Vargas, her role is primarily for the nominating committee. Anything that contends with, not really so much of interaction, but the selection and the process of creating the commission, selecting the commissioners that are the seat above us. And Councilor Orlikoff is essentially our voice box, if you will, for lack of a better term. He does all the public-facing items, which means the communications and the public outreach sort of thing. Now, we can all do it. We can all help and assist. Last thing I want to do is get in anybody's swim lane and get in their way.
Can I,
Please.
sorry, no, yes,
Please.
I'd like to know what happened to those names. The people who signed up to your committee
I
list,
told
what
you
happened to
I'm
those
happy to
names?
discuss that once this issue is resolved.
I think Chris already mentioned what we do. Now, would you tell me what you did to that
All right,
list?
all right.
What happened to those
This
names?
is a conversation the two of you can have after this meeting is over.
No, I think it addresses Sally's question.
Well, this is a conversation you can have. It does.
Sending out information.
Yeah, I did see that.
David is sending out information, but you have stopped, and I thought, based on your role, now maybe I haven't read the bylaws correctly, that say that you're the one that controls the mailing list and sends it out to people. But I thought you were the one you were doing this for months.
True.
Long before I was on David's list, I was getting emails from you,
Ashley, is it all right with you if I address?
or from you.
Sally?
Please do.
Thank you. Okay. What I believe, so Sal, you provided me with an email of somebody who had signed a sign-up list for the 14th District Council that is not on my list. So I believe that probably came from one of our earlier meetings where myself and Chris both had sign-up sheets. So, you know, I need to be, if somebody signed Chris's list but not my list, that's why they are not currently on my list. So they can sign up for my list and then they'll start getting these emails. I don't believe that we have any.
But they don't know when the meetings are, so they can't come and sign up.
Yeah. So I mean,
Because they're not on your list.
Do they have access to the internet?
Okay.
Then all they have to do is go to the
All right.
CCTSA website.
All right,
Yes,
all right.
indeed.
I'm gonna ask for order. I'm gonna ask for order in the room. All right, so tell you what, I think this will probably solve all problems, and hopefully it does. And correct me if you see it a different way. The email list that I currently have, like I said, it's sitting dormant. I can share it with you, and you can perform an audit and splice them in.
Sure.
I think that would satisfy everything.
Yeah, I can.
Hopefully it doesn't violate anyone's privacy or data concerns. Mr. Tucker.
I do get David's emails, so I have had Usually they're a few days before the meeting, if that's the official means by which the council is announcing it to the email list. I just want to make it note that I am receiving those and I am getting those.
Yeah, so I'd like to respond about the official, to my knowledge, we have no, official in bylaws process for the email list. The legal notice for the Illinois Open Meetings Act, the legal notice, refers to the agenda being posted online a minimum of 48 hours ahead of time. There is also a requirement where it's also supposed to be posted at the physical location. And I will admit that at times I have been lax on having that at the appropriate time, at the appropriate location. So those are the legal requirements that we're under from an Illinois state law called the Open Meetings Act. So in terms of that compliance, the notice, the legal notice is on our website. In terms of the effective email list, I do have my name on this list now. To clarify that it's coming from me, and I will also, I share the meetings that we have and I share information that I feel is relevant. Those newsletters are not vetted by the entire council, so I write those newsletters. That's why I refer to it as my list. The purpose and scope of that newsletter, nonetheless, is meant to promote these meetings and this business that we're all doing. And so, yeah, it's my de facto role to send that out every month or before our meetings. And I have taken that on, and I commit, to continuing to do that to anybody who has signed up or expressed that they wish to receive those messages from me. The answer is we don't have an officially defined email list or, schedule for that. I'm doing my best.
Right, and I think it's fair to mention that we don't have the obligation to do anything beyond submitting it and putting it on the website. It's more of a courtesy that my colleagues and I reach out to people, and I'm not saying that I do it begrudgingly. I think that we do a good job, but like I said, last thing I want to do is overstuff somebody's inbox, especially when they're getting the same thing 3 times or 2 times. I'd rather it come from one source and have it delivered right out there.
Right. I think there was that, yes. So if there was somebody that signed Chris's list that didn't get onto my list, I think that was not due to any malice. As Chris said, it was to consolidate, but we didn't transfer all of them. Most of the people probably signed both lists or ended up signing mine, but apparently there's a couple people that didn't never get on my list, and Chris has stopped sending his.
I would just if I'm signing a list that I assume is going to be used for the city purposes,
yes, sir.
I would just assume signing that list would be implied consent to receive those emails. However, just a suggestion, if you would make it more explicit, maybe have a disclaimer or even a box that you can check off that explicitly affirms your consent to receive the email. Just suggestions.
Thanks.
All right, as I mentioned, National Night Out, August 6th, but before that, we have another meeting coming up. I know everyone's excited about that.
What's the time? Sorry? August 6th?
I believe it's 6 p.m. Is that accurate, Ms. Heyman? I know that you're...
4:30 to 8.
4:30 to 8.
Thank you.
Yeah, real good time. And we have to be a little cognizant if we duplicate our presence there that we kind of shift around.
It won't be an
Right.
official meeting. We won't talk about it.
But anyway, that being said, we have our next meeting is going to be here in this room, August 3rd. So that's going to be before that. So be prepared to hear more about National Night Out on that day. With that, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Councilor,
Yeah,
I just wanted to address Councilor Vargas' question.
please.
So for those who are not aware of what Councilor Vargas is referring to, there was a person at one of our meetings, it was the May meeting, who was confused about receiving emails from our volunteer committee, the public, which we now call the 14th District Public Safety Committee. And so then there was some fabricated outrage about some confusion. But I took the opportunity to email everybody on the list to clarify for them the nature of the volunteer committee and asked if anybody wanted to be removed from the list. And there was exactly one person who asked to be removed from the list. And I don't know if it's the same lady or not, because she never made it to the end. But there was one person, exactly one person. And I've repeated that opportunity at least twice, and not only has no one else asked to be removed from the list, but they've invited their neighbors, and our list has grown. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much. With that being said, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Are we all good, Ashley?
I think we're good.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Time now is 3 o'clock on the button. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Which one is it? Let me see if I already have it. It's not ready yet. Are you